Aloha fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the Shokugan modeling project Gao Hunter from Hyakujuu Sentai Gaoranger. So the outer box here just has some cool product shots. And then if we open up the box we can take a look at the individual boxes. So here we have the front of the box, we have Gao Hunter and the three individual animals. And then this tells us that Wolf and Hammerhead Shark are in this first box. The other two boxes are actually both part A and B of the Crocodile because he's so large. But I really like the back of the box here because it's meant to resemble the original packaging from when the toy was originally released, the DX Mecha that is. So very, very cool. All the boxes are the same except for the small label down here that tells you what parts are inside. So I think this one's going to be really fantastic. I'm super excited to put it together. So without further ado, I'm going to get it all built and stickered up and then we'll take a closer look. So here are three new animals, fully assembled and stickered up. And I gotta say, there really are not a ton of stickers in this set, which I greatly appreciate. Most of the detail is either molded in, or if it's painted or a different color plastic, it all looks really sharp. We'll start with the two smaller animals first, so we'll start over here with the wolf. And very much like his DX counterpart, he is a play on the White Tiger. So if you have the Gao King set, this is going to look very similar to the White Tiger, transforms very similarly as well. Really like the wolf head there. They did a really nice job with that. Mouth opens and closes. So you can close it there. And then there's kind of this little piece here that you can grab to kind of open it up. And it opens about that far, maybe a little bit further. Head can swivel here at the base of the neck. And then you have some up and down movement kind of at the base of the skull. You don't get a ton of movement with the legs. These pieces are really just kind of pegged in here. But you do have a little bit of movement at this joint here as well as this joint here, so it's kind of like he has a double jointed elbow. And then you have the little foot that can move. And then back here you really just have these kind of move together. I think you're supposed to be able to move them separately. Yeah, there we go. They seem to always want to kind of move together because it's just one big rod through the back here. But you can kind of move the legs a little bit on this joint here, and then you have this joint here, and then again you have the little paw that can move. And then you have the massive tail, which of course is going to become the chest plate for the combined robot Gao Hunter. But you can take this off and you can see how he's got these two holes here. That's really to peg into the chest. But you can also kind of put his fangs through there and then close the mouth so he can run around using this as a weapon. And also so that when he's an arm, you can hold this as a weapon for the robot. So I think that's really cool. And this just kind of slots in here, just kind of slides right in. And that's all paint. You can see that that's all really nicely painted gold. Looks very, very sharp. All of the paw claws on each of the paws. Paw claws? Yeah, there we go. They're all nicely painted. The eyes are painted. That's one sticker down the center. The black for the two ears. This little piece here and that there. That's the only stickers for... Oh, I'm sorry. And these two down here. That's all we have for the wolf. So he looks really, really good. Moving on to the Hammerhead Shark. Again, very similar to the normal shark for Gao King. This is all paint, really nice and sharp looking there. The eyes are painted. I think he's got, there's a silver on each side of the fin here, and then there's a little silver sticker on each of these fins, and then one big sticker here. I think that's it. Everything else is painted. Even the sword over here, or the back tail fin, is all painted. And then these are kind of different colored pieces of plastic. He doesn't really have a ton. I mean, technically you can kind of open this up, which is really more for when it's in the arm mode. But if you wanted to kind of have the shark swimming along, you could use that for articulation as well. The fins do move a little bit, and the mouth does open and close. But that's about it for articulation for him. But he looks really good. Like I said, I really love all of this paint here on the top of the hammerhead. Really, really very cool. So let's move these two off to the side so we can get to the main event, the Crocodile. This guy is fantastic. He has very little in terms of stickers. Honestly, I think these gold pieces here, this is kind of one sticker here, and then this is one sticker under the eye, but it sticks on really nice, and because it is molded under there, it almost just looks like it's painted. It looks really sharp. Really, really nice there. And then I think he's got like this little sticker right here, this stripe. I think that's it. Everything else on him is all painted or molded or different color plastics, and he just looks amazing. So you have the opening mouth. It can open quite wide, and you can kind of move this around a little bit. You can see you got a joint there. This opens up pretty wide. So really nice mouth there. Go ahead and close that up. Need to make sure that the teeth line up. There we go. Don't really have much in terms of like this arm here. This is just a cover, very much like the DX toy, so not really any movement there. You have a little bit of movement here in this back leg. I mean, really, it's kind of just like moving the leg. You can kind of tilt this a little bit side to side because that's going to become the robot's legs. But really where his articulation comes into play is the tail. You can pull all of these segments up. The tail fell off. We'll get back on there. You can pull all these segments apart so that you can get a really nice range of motion with the tail there. And let me go ahead and peg this back on here. There we go. So you can get a really nice range of motion there with the tail. I like that a lot. I think that's a really nice touch. If you don't care about it, you can just push it all back together and hide it. But if you want it, you have a really nice range of motion there. I think that's really cool. And then you just kind of push all these pieces back together because that's going to become a weapon later on for the robot mode. But very, very cool in terms of that articulation. That's really, really neat. So I think the Croc is definitely my favorite. I mean, it makes sense. He's kind of the newest of this set because we've already seen the White Tiger and the Shark. That just kind of variations. But this guy's 100% new, and he looks fantastic. And who doesn't just love a really cool crocodile? I mean, come on. He looks great. So all three of these are pretty fantastic. Let's go ahead and get into the transformation. All right, so of course we're going to start with the crocodile. We are going to unpeg the tail here. This little section here also needs to come out. And kind of how this works is there's a tiny little peg hole. And I can actually lift this up so that you can see it. This flap here does flip up. There's a tiny little peg hole right there that this pegs into, and then this pegs in here, right above this peg hole. When we use it as a weapon, it's actually going to switch around, and that's going to peg in there. So now we can kind of use this as his sword. Put that off to the side for the moment. We are going to come around to this section here, flip these up just to kind of get them out of the way, and then you can just fold down the legs, just like so. And then you can kind of bring these down and then kind of swing them out to the side. They do have like a little rotation joint there so you can swing them out. And that will allow you to bring the croc head around. Now you have to be careful because this barely clears this head here. You'll see as we bring this around, it just barely clears. You have to make sure that the head is all pointed straight down as far as it can go. And then we can push this in and then we can kind of swing these back around until they meet. And then we can flip down the feet. Let me swivel the camera up just a little bit. Zoom out here. So then, of course, we're going to just flip these flaps around. And they will just hang out on the back. We can bring the head up. So, of course, you have the two different configurations. When he is evil, you can flip up the horn and just kind of leave him like that. And this is all 100% painted. And that looks fantastic. Or you can swing this back down, and then you can drop the mouth down to reveal the head, the face. Again, fully painted, really nice silver there. The yellow for the eyes looks good. And this is just kind of like on a ball joint. You don't have a ton of movement. You can rock a little bit side to side and a little bit front to back, but mostly just kind of looks side to side. So we will zoom back out here. So we're pretty much done at this point. We're going to come around to the back. Now, if you want to push this back down and peg it in, you can. I kind of like to just leave it out just a little bit, just so you don't hinder any of the leg movement there. But speaking of leg movement, you have these little panels on the back here that would get in the way of using the knees. So you're going to kind of swivel this down, push it in a little bit, and then this piece will rotate down. And you want to drop this down. If you can see what I'm doing here, let me zoom in a little bit. So this kind of rocks down like so, and then hides in the leg down here underneath the knee. So that way you can get full range of motion, and he's got like a double jointed knee there, which is actually pretty cool. So you're going to go ahead and do the same thing over here, kind of push in at the bottom. And I don't know why, but this one seems to move a lot easier than the first one did. I don't know why. But anyway, you can see how it just kind of hides in there. And it's not a terrible look. I mean, this does look a little open, but it really does give you a nice range of motion for the knee. And we'll come back to the full articulation once we have him all combined. But you can see that the crocodile is the bulk of the robot. I mean, that's pretty much the entire torso and legs and head. But then we will go ahead and bring these in. So here is the wolf we will pop this off, and you can put it right on here. You can see the two big pegs right on there, very simply. We're going to take the back legs here and just kind of fold them up and fold that in there, and it'll kind of fit really nicely right into that little area. And then this whole section is going to rotate around like so to kind of give you the shoulder pad there. You're going to take these legs completely off, so these will just completely unpeg. You're going to take this, move this around, fold this in, and then tilt this in as much as you can so that it looks like that. And let me zoom in a little bit so you can see that. And then this is going to come back on and peg right on here. And as you can see, it pretty much folds up the leg completely, so it's not visible, which is nice. So bring this like so, slide that in, and then peg this back in. And then we're going to rotate at the neck just like that. And you have a little bit of play here if you want to kind of pull this apart. It depends how much arm articulation you need. The directions don't really show you doing that, but it is possible. So you can kind of pull both of these out a little bit. Actually, no, I guess you can't pull this one out, but you can definitely pull this one out. So you have this range of motion here as kind of a normal elbow, but then you have this as well. So if you wanted to give him kind of double jointed elbows, you could, or you could go ahead and leave that in and just use the one elbow. It's up to you, but you can see pretty nice range of motion there. And then you can see this connection port right here, which is going to peg on right here very simply. So boom, pop that in. We'll angle it up a little bit. Then we're going to take our hammerhead shark. We're going to pull the tail out. We are going to fold the two fins in like this. We are going to pull this one apart, swivel this, and then that's pretty much it. You can open the mouth a little bit if you want. Again, here's the connection port, so we're just going to go ahead and pop that on there. And there we go. There is Gao Hunter. He looks great. Really, really well done. I think he looks fantastic. Now, in terms of articulation, we already went over the head. You have a swivel here. You have a bit of a hinge. You actually have this kind of crazy joint here. So let me take that off so I can show you how all this works. And it's going to be probably a little difficult to pull this all the way out. But you can see this range of motion here in the shoulder. So you have a swivel here. Then you have this that can swivel like this. So you could get some really crazy poses out of this. Let me go ahead and attach this back on. So if for some reason you needed to like have him kind of reach over there or something like that, you can. And then it just kind of accordions all the way back in, so if you just want kind of a normal pose. But that's a really nice range of motion there in the shoulder, so they give you a lot of options. Now, you don't really have anything in the waist, of course. There's nothing at the halfway point, but what is really cool, as we've seen in the show many times, you can pull out, if I can get this to pop out of here, you can pull out the croc head while he's in the robot mode, like we've seen on the show, and have the mouth open up. There is a joint to be able to do that, which I think is fantastic, because we've seen this on the show, and the original DX toy was not able to do this. So they went back and made sure that it was possible here, and you just kind of close this back up, and then this just kind of tucks back into place here if you want the normal configuration. So that's fantastic. I love that. I'm so glad they put that in. You have kind of a hinge here and a flap here, so you can move this so you can get the full range here out of the hips. You can kick pretty far forward. Again, if you want to kick back, you just kind of have to move this flap out of the way, but then of course you can kick back like that, kick out to the side. You have a thigh swivel. You have those double jointed knees I talked about earlier. You have movement here in the ankle as well as an ankle tilt, which is really cool. So this guy is just jam-packed with articulation. I feel like Mini-Pla, Shokugan Modeling Project, whatever you want to call it, they do a great job when it comes to articulation, and they build these things really, really well. So I am just floored with this guy. He looks great, wonderful articulation, and honestly, it was a really fun build because there weren't a lot of stickers, and it was just fun to just kind of build them, and it went together pretty easily. It was really nice. I really like him a lot. Now wait, we didn't get to his weapon yet, so of course let's get back to that. So here is the crocodile tail, and we pegged that piece in there. We're going to bring in our shark tail, straighten that out to be the blade, and then we're going to just peg this right in here like that. And there you go. There is your weapon. So you have a couple options with this. If we take the shark hand, there is a tiny little piece here that we want to flip out. If I can remember how this does this. Yeah, there's a little tab right here. You can kind of flip this out. It's a little easier said than done, but you can flip this little ring out. Come on now. So you can see the ring right there. So we're going to take this piece. We're going to unhook this. We have to feed it through the ring, which again, a little easier said than done because it's a bit of a tight fit. And I'm always kind of paranoid I'm going to break these things. I really don't think I'm in any danger of that, but I always like to be overly cautious. So if we can feed this through, there we go. And now we can peg this back in, which again can be a little difficult because the hammerhead shark pieces are in the way. I might have to push this through a little bit more. I promise it's doable. There we go. We'll push that all the way up, and then we should be able to connect this. And there we go. We'll close up the mouth of the shark there. So there you go. You can also do it the other way if you want. You can flip it around so that this is in the front. But you have this crazy, massive weapon. I love that. That is a massive, giant weapon. Now, if you want, you don't have to connect this. If you want him to just use this piece, you could do something like that. You could either put this back in the shark up here. You could have this guy. You could probably put this in the mouth and close the mouth to the point that he would hold it. Yeah, you could do something like that. Plus, like I showed earlier, you can take this wing piece here, what was the tail, and put that in his mouth, and he can use that as a bladed weapon as well. But I love that. That's really, really, really cool. Now, the other thing you can do, which is actually pretty neat, and I'm going to have to remove this, which will probably be a fairly difficult... actually, not too bad. I thought that was going to be a lot more difficult than it is. Well, now I jinxed it. There we go. So we'll fold this back in, close the mouth up. They give you a piece. If you've seen the show, he does sometimes kind of let this sit on the back here. So what we're going to do is put this all back together like so. And they give you this little black connector piece. And what you do is you come around to the back here and you can see how this kind of arcs. This is going to fit into this section here and just kind of clip onto the leg, just like that. And then you can take this and peg it into this spot right here, like so. And then that can just kind of rest there if you just want him to kind of store it back there. It does look a little goofy, but again, he did do it on the show, so they wanted to replicate that. You can go ahead and store that along the back there like that, which I think is cool. Makes him a little top heavy, though. I'm not going to lie. But we'll go ahead and take that off. So, really cool weapon. I really think that looks fantastic. He looks great holding it. You can store it along the back. And if for some reason, we'll take this piece off. If you wanted to, have him use this as like a whip piece or something, you technically could, because this does still have that articulation there. So if you wanted to kind of have him use it as a whip, you could, which I think is kind of neat. So I love how that just snaps together back like that. So very, very cool. I love the weapon here. I think they did a great job with this. Very excited that that was included there. So real quick, I wanted to show them off with Gao King. As you can see, they are roughly the same size. And of course, because I know people will ask, you can switch out the arms. So if you wanted to go ahead and have Wolf connect to Gao King, you absolutely can. And then we'll put the white tiger over here. So you can absolutely switch those. I just wanted to show that off. I'm very excited about this line because, of course, as we know, there are so many different Gao animals. And to be able to, switch and swap and make all the different crazy combinations, it's going to be a lot of fun. So I also like that they're roughly the same scale. I really appreciate that as well. So this is going to be a lot of fun. This guy's just fantastic. I really can't think of anything negative to say about him. He was a fun build, not many stickers to apply. Most of the details either molded in, or it's painted, or it's the use of 2 different colored plastics. He really just looks phenomenal. He's got great articulation. The robot mode looks fantastic. The weapons are great. The 3 individual animal modes are great. I mean, yes, the hammerhead and the wolf are not the most unique because, of course, they're molded off of the other shark and the white tiger, but they're still great. The crocodile is absolutely fantastic. I can't really think of anything negative to say about this guy. I definitely recommend picking him up, especially if you're a Gaoranger fan or a Power Rangers Wild Force fan. No reason not to try to grab this guy. He was normal retail, so he should be a little bit easier to track down than some of the premium Bandai sets. But yeah, he was just great. Like I said, fun build, great toy, transformations, fun and easy. I can't think of anything bad to say. He's really just fantastic. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.